Hi, and welcome to Life Level Leadership by Real Leadership Company. I'm Tom Ray, and joining with me today is Bert Copple.
Hey, everybody. Great to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
And Bert, why don't you introduce our guest today?
Yeah, we have a really special guest joining us all the way from the Panhandle of Florida. We got John Martineau, who's with us. He's the owner of Swamp Shack BBQ. So we're going to be talking to him today, which is really exciting. John, so thank you so much for joining us on this vlog.
Yeah, I'm just appreciative that you guys asked me to be a part of this. And so just very thankful to be connected with you guys and be able to share our story.
Absolutely.
Well, Bert, as you know, we like to start off every episode with an attitude of gratitude. So why don't you kick us off with that, and I'll go next, and then we'll have John go, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I know one thing that I am eternally grateful for, a while back, being that we're in the home care industry, we were sending our caregivers out there and we didn't have enough masks for them. And we had some ladies in the Ferndale area who lost their jobs a couple weeks ago, and we hired them to start sewing cloth masks for us. And so this is one that I had specially made for me. It says King of the Road. It's got a motorcycle on it, which is great. But these masks now we have purchased, believe it or not, over 1,000 of these masks from these ladies who have been sewing these for us and distributing them out to the community and our community partners to keep our caregivers safe. So I am so grateful to those ladies who have sewn masks for us and those who have mailed them in from across the country to keep our employees safe. So thank you so much for that. That's what I'm thankful for today. Tom, how about you?
Well, I'm thankful for my health today in the midst of all this quarantining and being stuck in our houses. I'm just thankful that everyone here, praise the Lord, is healthy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
John, how about you? What are you thankful for?
Well, I guess in the same manner, we're very thankful and that we're healthy because the type, and we can talk about this a little bit later, but the type of business that we're in, I was really concerned about remaining healthy because if something were to happen, I would have to shut down. And so not that I wasn't overly fearful or concerned, but I'm just thankful that we're healthy. We've been strong through all this. And so I'm thankful for being healthy because we have had some families and friends that have been impacted by this virus, and even the losing of a friend there in Detroit who passed away last week from this virus. So just for us personally, our family, we're thankful that we are healthy right now, being able to work and do our job.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Well, Tom, we've been talking about the restaurant industry for the last couple of weeks. And the last week we had a chance to interview Nate Rockwell from Briquette Smokehouse in Ashtabula, Ohio. And we've been talking about dreams and how we know that creativity is never birthed from success, right? Success does not birth creativity. As a matter of fact, when we're successful, we just continue to do the same things over and over again that we've always done. But when you face hardships, that's when you're forced to start getting creative. And so we've been talking to different industry experts about what they've been doing to continue to put their dream to the test. And Nate told us how he grew his business with just $16,000 over 11 years into a $1.6 million business that is now completely and totally shut down, and how he's starting to rethink and redream what he has to do with that. And so this week we want to talk to someone else in the restaurant industry. And so we reached out to John, and I had a chance last summer to go down and work with John at his restaurant, his operation down there. John, first of all, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what your business is and how long you've been in business for and how things are going. Why don't you walk us through that?
Well, we've been open just over a year down here in the Panhandle of Florida in a little town called Blountstown, which is about an hour northeast of Panama City, and hour north of Mexico Beach, an hour west of Tallahassee. And so we're out in the middle of nowhere, but we're in the middle of everything. And so we have been open just a little over a year, and our business is a food trailer model. And it's basically, we started from scratch with that. And I believe that model and being that way, and actually some of the struggles of being in the food trailer model is actually the reason I'm still open today.
Wow.
And because of just the struggles of other brick and mortars around here. So things that I have disliked about our business, and Bert, you worked here, you saw just how difficult it is. It's very labor intensive, especially the type of food that we're doing, the type of food product that we're trying to put out every day. However, that that aspect of it being open air out in the parking lot in a trailer, small, contained, it's helped us stay in business as a mom and pop shop here in town.
Can we go back a little bit? Before you guys moved down to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, running a food truck has not been your primary gig your entire life. So to walk us through what you were doing before all this, and what were some of the changes that happened that kind of forced you to take what was really a successful backyard hobby into what is now your livelihood. Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Well, basically being in full-time ministry for 25 years, and in that full-time ministry pretty much up in Detroit area the whole time. I'm originally from South Mississippi. My wife is from Tulsa. And, when I was going through seminary at ORU, that's when she and I met, and we got married, moved to Detroit just after I graduated. And we pretty much were up there the entire time until probably 2 years ago, that we moved down here, and just the transitions of the church that we run up there with Woodlawn, and then being able to work at Woodside for a while as we made those transitions. That's when a lot of this was coming to fruition. And as you said, this has always been a hobby. And as I look back over the years, especially being up in Detroit, and for some reason it just started rising up into me. I love barbecue, and I grew up around it. I always loved barbecue restaurants, and it just continued to grow and grow. And Bert, you witnessed how just even our little outdoor kitchen that we titled or labeled Swamp Shack. That's where Swamp Shack was birthed, in our backyard, actually a physical building, a little outdoor kitchen. And so that I would say the dreams of that were on that back porch, on that back patio. And the dream was to try to start it there. And we did initially began the process. I even started our business license there in Michigan. And I remember that fall, I believe it was fall of 2016, I was praying. I just, something told me to put the brakes on. And I had already started pursuing everything, and I stopped. And I didn't know why. I just told Stacy, I said, it didn't feel right. And, at that time, there's a lot of changes still going on with ministry and what we were doing, but I knew that this was a dream. It was something we were talking about. We were seriously going to try to do, and we put the brakes on there. And then we began to pray, and like, okay, God, if this is what you wanted us to do, you placed this in our heart and giving us an opportunity or desire to do it. Where do you want us to do it? And so we just began praying and looking, and like, well, hey, we always, do we need to move back down south where we're from? And so we did look at that. And so we visited the Panhandle of Florida. Long story short, we came down here in January, I believe is January of 2017. I literally drove the Panhandle. And we had already knew about this little town, Blountstown. And I'd never heard of it before. And once we visited it, we knew this is where we were supposed to be. Had no explanation about it whatsoever, other than we visited everywhere: Destin, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, Niceville, Destin, all these little cool, trendy places here on the Gulf Coast. And God brought us to Blountstown. And so that's really kind of the story, a quick synopsis of how we ended up here. And we came here not knowing anyone. And that was a step of faith.
So it's part of that intersection of where faith meets entrepreneurship, right? And so you step
Correct.
out in faith, you end up down in a small town, and literally it's in the middle of the Panhandle. Right. And you're down there. What's it like, man, to have this dream of a business that you want to start, and all you had was a food truck? I mean, literally, you had the food truck. You went down there. You didn't know where you were going to plant the thing. You didn't know how you were going to start this. How did that dream start to become a reality for you down in Blountstown?
Right. Well, just even in that beginning year, that spring, when we made the decision, and you remember our story, we made the decision, we're going to go. Let's put our house on the market. Let's do everything. Then boom, the rocks started falling off the mountain. We had to move fast because, the market up there was great. Our house moved. We knew where we were going to go, but we had nothing in our hands. I didn't have a food trailer at that time. I just knew where we were supposed to go. I didn't know if it was going to be a food trailer. I just know, go to the Panhandle, go to Blountstown, start a barbecue business. I didn't know what it looked like. We didn't have a place to live. And I drove back and forth so many times coming down here looking for home. We couldn't find a home. That got worked out literally at the last minute. And once we moved here, made the transition, we still didn't have a plan. Nothing was in place other than just beginning to build relationships. And so it really was actually arriving here, bringing our family here, and being in this situation without knowing what we're supposed to do, that's where God started formulating everything. And there's a lot of mornings sitting on my front porch praying and, just asking God. And actually, the beginning of that spring, God just gave me a word of, it just came into my heart in my prayer of, God, give us the land. I don't know what it meant, but I shared it with our family. It's just, God, give us the land. And because we couldn't find a place to park our trailer at the time, or even, thinking about it, because we knew that we were going to do a food trailer because the brick and mortar thing was not working out.
And just walk through that conversation. You said the brick and mortar thing's not going to work out. So what caused you to make that definitive decision that you were going to go food truck and not brick and mortar?
Right. Well, just in the area, in this town that where we're at, it's a small town. It's a small place. And, we're talking 15,000 people in the county, and within the city limits, most everything is owned by just a few people. At the time when we moved here before Hurricane Michael, we literally moved here 6 months, or in June of that year, got the family here. Michael hit in October. And there just wasn't any buildings available for restaurants. I mean, they were just messed up, torn up, just been sitting dilapidated, or there was restaurants occupied. And so there just wasn't a place. And I knew that it was going to have to be the food trailer model that we were going to have to take on.
Obviously, bad things happen in life. That's just the way life works, right? And so, major hurricane does go blowing through the panhandle of Florida. And as devastating as that was, can you talk a little bit about how you guys strategically, as business owners, were able to, impact and work within the community, which, of course, I know that you did it because it's your heart. But from a business standpoint, you guys made some really key connections during that recovery effort. Can you walk through how business owners can really look at moments of tragedy to find ways to reach out to also help them take the land, so to speak?
Right. Yeah, we're just at the time that Michael hit, we hadn't officially launched our business, but everybody knew that we were here. I mean, we launched all social media, we launched advertising. Because even as I shared when I left Detroit,
I'm just showing some pictures, John, while you're talking.
Even when we left Detroit, I pretty much shared that I felt that it was going to be approximately a year before the business was launched, and which pretty much came true. And, and just to back up just a little bit, one reason I felt that we needed to come to Blountstown, for some reason, was placed in my heart that this would be a great place, a forgiving place, a great opportunity of relationships, of people that would give us grace to start our business, because we didn't really know what we were doing. And, so that was all in the mix of coming here. And so when we came here, I didn't have a job. And just a few months before that, I made a connection with the folks at First Baptist, and they needed a worship leader. So we quickly got integrated into that family before anything happened, before I found any job or anything. I was here living off of savings and burning that really fast because the beach is really close. Anyway, sorry. Sidetrack. And so we quickly got integrated into a church. And so that's where a lot of relationships were building. And I just told my family and even us, I said, guys, I just need you to understand, because all the years of being in ministry, you see people that come into churches that struggle or never build relationships. But we did that. And we, our family proved the fact that if you come to a new place, come to somewhere you don't know anybody, and you get involved with the church family, you immediately have a family. And because we always preach that, Bert, you remember that, just preaching that in churches and sharing that, get involved in church wherever you go. And so us starting this business here, I just have to back up and say that just as a word of thanks, that it was the church family that helped us start this business. It wasn't my dream and Stacy's dream and some savviness. But we had people that just loved us, that liked us and wanted to help us. And so in that course of that year, they helped us launch it. But then, like you said, Michael hit, and I was working at Lowe's. Stacy was working at the courthouse. And but plus I was working at the church as well. So I felt kind of lost at the moment. I was like, oh man, the storm's coming. My trailer was already supposed to be here. I look back, I'm thankful my trailer was not here when Michael hit. I might have lost it. And they were delayed in building it. So in the course of the storm and repairs and how devastated it was here, I was trying to negotiate, trying to get my business up and running. I felt a little lost at the time, a little put out. I had opportunities to do ministry and sell food. And I look back and it was God's perfect time that I did not have the physical trailer with me. So during that time of the hurricane, be involved in that church family, there was even more connections that were made to help us start the business. So I got to say, us starting the business here in Blountstown had everything to do with relationships, and has a lot to do with food. Yes, food had to be good, but it's relationships of some great friends that helped us.
John, thinking back, knowing that, your business was birthed out of that tragedy that happened in the Panhandle, right? I mean, obviously there was a plan in place. You moved down there, as Tom likes to say, quotes John Maxwell all the time. What is the quote, John, or Tom? What do you always say? When you
jump and build your wings on the way down.
That's right. And so that's definitely, without a doubt, John, that's what you and your family did, man. You guys jumped down to Florida and you had to build your wings down. But let me ask you this, looking back, do you think that there was any benefit to trying to start your business coming out of the hurricane, coming out of the storm, as opposed to had you done it right before the storm, or if you had done it during just a time of flourishing? What were some of the benefits? And again, I know that's a weird word to say, but we're talking to other business owners today who are going through a storm right now and they don't know how to face it. What does it mean to be able to go through a storm and to start something new, even when it looks like there may not be success on the other side?
Right. Well, I think benefits is a good word. Because coming out of, Michael devastated this place, and Bert, you saw it. We're talking just miles and miles and hundreds and thousands of square miles that were completely devastated. And and this is still happening. There's still a lot of birthing that is taking place down here because in some of our areas it was so devastated. So starting a business just months out of that storm, it was a time where people were trying to get back to some normalcy in their lives, and they were looking for something new. They were looking for some hope, and so there was the emotional, that aspect of it, and the spiritual component of it, but there also just the physical is coming out of the storm. There was a lot of workers in town. There was, this place was being overrun by a lot of contractors from outside of town, where they were hauling limbs or tearing down houses or driving trucks. And that was a lot of our business for the first couple of months, was those workers being in town. And plus it was the community. However, there was this surge that those first 2 or 3 months of opening, that there were these workers. And because as they were leaving beginning of the summer, I did see our sales slip a little bit because we lost those everyday guys. So I would say that was a benefit of coming out of the storm. That was an unknown of just one, there was extra people in this little town that normally wouldn't have been here, that needed food, that wanted to eat something different. Guys from North Carolina and Texas, like, oh man, there's barbecue, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And plus just our locals, just that aspect of here's a new business, here's some new food that wasn't here before.
So now here we are as a country, we are in the middle of a brand new pandemic, a new storm, so to speak, right? And the National Restaurant Association has already reported that, they're estimating between 11 and 18% of all restaurants across the country are probably going to close down permanently after this because they just were not prepared for the storm. They couldn't make it through, or they weren't willing to adapt and change. So this is kind of a unique situation, John, because you're still open for business, right? So, how has the pandemic impacted what you're doing down in Blountstown?
Well, financially, it hasn't hurt us at all because our sales have stayed the same. They've gone up. It's been a little crazier, and we've adjusted our hours a little bit as well. But so from the financial standpoint, it hasn't hurt us at all. But I would say the difficult aspect of it is this putting on you guys, everybody, all over the nation and the world. There is this aspect of stress that's in the air. It's just, we're doing the same job every day we've been doing for a year, but it just feels hard right now, and just feels, feel tired. Even like this morning, I was have a telephone conversation with my brother who is in food industry, and I was just like, dude, I don't even want to go do this today. I mean, I feel tired.
Yeah.
And, but for some reason, even though I would say that our hours are compressed a little bit, I still feel like I guess it's the emotional toughness of this right now. But like I said earlier, when we opened up with just being thankful that it is the model that I was starting to not despise, but it's hard what we do and hard longevity. That's the reason we're open. That we've been able to navigate these waters and do some creative social distancing, people to come to get food, things like that. And our location where we're at in town, our business has stayed fairly strong, as the other takeout businesses as well.
Yeah, there was a clip I was going to show, but I think, Tom, we can save that for another conversation just between you and me. But basically, what's going to happen here is there's going to be a lot of restaurants who are not adapting, right?
Right.
And what we're finding is that there's a lot of opportunity right now, and we've talked about this, for people who have ever been interested in the restaurant industry. Now may be the perfect time to get in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about this. There are so many vacant brick and mortar restaurants across the country right now that are sitting fully equipped with all of the equipment you would need to run a restaurant. And there are landlords who are going to be anxious to rent out, probably at discounted prices. So if you have a business plan and you have the will to do it, this may be the perfect time. Think about it. You don't even need to have drivers and delivery drivers anymore. You have companies that do that for you, whether it's through Uber or Lyft or whatever the case is. John, obviously you've been able to sustain this through this. What is next for you? What are you dreaming about in the future? What are you trying to accomplish next? And what are you doing to make those dreams come true for what's going to be next for Swamp Shack?
All right. Well, I was on the news a couple of weeks down here in Panama City, and Mackenzie, the reporter, asked me that same question. And it kind of stumped me a little bit, because I just feel that we're so overwhelmed with this, just trying to navigate day by day of just the thoughts of like, today could be my last day that I'm open for business for a couple of weeks. And however, Stacey and I discussed of like, where's the opportunity that's in this difficult time right now for us? And, because what are some adaptations that we've been making just to stay open that may be part of the new model? We're currently working on online sales and online payment, and our phone calls have increased, which helps our walk-ups. And so there's some things that have been happening as a business that actually have speed up, have allowed us to serve customers quicker. And so I'm hoping that stuff stays in place. But vision in the future, what we're working out is how to grow our business. Because, Bert, I've shared this with you before, there's a component of the way we're doing things that we have hit a lid. We're a family-run business, and we have a small unit. And, how do we grow this business in this town, and what does God want us to do with it? Because, we really feel that God wanted us to start this business, and to support missions and things like that. And so we're still praying about that after we're just through this year of this craziness of, can we breathe now and really find where God wants us to go with this business? And I would say I don't have a good clear answer for that, other than we are praying, we're asking God to show us, and where's the hidden opportunities that we don't see right now. I'm not trying to be, I know there's some sadistic business owners right now are probably thinking how to just give themselves a better edge in something like this. But I've been just, with our family, I was trying to stay safe. Let's go in, let's serve our hours, let's do our stuff, clean up, and go home. I know if we stay open longer, we might can make more money, but I'm not going to function that way. And so that's, but I am looking to see how God is positioning us. Because Bert, as you said a minute ago, this is an opportunity for people that do have a dream. Because anytime there's disasters and things that fall apart, because I told Stacey this very thing last week. I said, when something falls apart or somebody loses their money in something, there's always somebody ready to backfill that is sitting there with money, sitting there with capital, sitting there with a dream that's ready to come in and start theirs. And so not that one person's failure is another person's success, but there are, you know, in this virus thing, there are people that are like, okay, somehow they're able to get the resources to start their dream. And our dream basically was birthed in the middle of turmoil in our life. Past 4 or 5 years for our family's been nothing but changes and turmoil and loose footing, you know, but we went ahead with it.
That's really powerful, John. And you're right. I mean, change is never easy, but like we said at the beginning, man, success does not breed creativity. Success comes out of turmoil
Sure.
and hard work. And you guys are definitely working hard down there in Florida. Tom, is there any questions you want to ask John or anything you want to throw in there?
I'm just glad for you and your business that you've been able to continue to be successful and provide a service to the community as well as provide for your family. And to coin that phrase again from John Maxwell, jump and grill your wings on the way down.
Yeah, we feel grilled, that's for sure.
Yeah, John.
But I do want to reinstate that aspect of just so much part of our starting our business here was relationships. So I want to encourage new business owners, if you are going to a new place or a location, don't be a loner. You build relationships with people. You know, not that you're looking to leverage those relationships, but you never know when they're necessary. And be a peacemaker, be a person of peace, because you never know how somebody's going to use someone in your life to help the dream that God's placed in your heart.
Yeah, that's awesome, John.
That's powerful stuff. You know, we reference a lot of times on this about the show, The Undercover Billionaire. And I don't know if you had a chance to see that, John, but it's very powerful. A gentleman starting a business with nothing. And he did that very thing where he went in and just found some people and connected with some people and knew that he couldn't do this on his own.
Right.
And he just befriended people and they ended up going to the distance with him without any money, without getting paid. So it was pretty fantastic to see that unfold on film.
Yeah, I guess my family's doing that right now, but they're ready to bail on me. I want to build some new relationships.
Yeah, you might need to after all this, right?
Yeah, my kids have just, especially my wife Stacy, they've all just been working really hard, and even in this virus situation, they're out of school and they're working hard every day. So I'm so thankful for them and my kids. I mean, I'm throwing them cash, but they're doing it without pay pretty much. And my son Luke, he's a manager at Hungry Howie's locally, so he's doing his college online. He's working for us, working at Hungry Howie's, and he's pushing it out really hard.
That's awesome, man. John, we really do appreciate you taking time to talk with us.
Yeah.
I just love, again, these stories of entrepreneurs who have found ways through difficult situations to come out and to succeed. And we just want to encourage you. If you're a business owner out there right now, or you're thinking about going into business, or you're sitting at home right now in quarantine, this is the opportunity. This is the time to start dreaming, right? To put that dream to the test, because this is where doors and opportunities can come your way. And just like John alluded to, it starts with building relationships. And John's business is thriving right now in the middle of a pandemic where a lot of restaurants are not doing well. And a lot of restaurant owners are going to come out of this thinking, man, maybe I should have a brick and mortar and a food truck. And maybe there's some food truck owners saying, how can I leverage this and go to 2 or 3 locations? And I know that's what John's going through right now, is how do you make that jump from small family business to medium-sized family business, because now all of a sudden there's new costs involved. So, Eleanor Roosevelt said it best, right? The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Because if you don't believe in your own dream, you're not going to accomplish it. You're not going to make it happen. So, John, thanks so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it, man.
Yeah. That's great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Don't forget to check us out on our website, realleadershipcompany.com. You can find this interview nestled into our Unstuck University segment. It's where we keep all of our real life stories intact, so you can hear from other business owners and hear what's really happening in the world from real business leaders, which is exciting, and people in ministry as well. So make sure you check that out. Join Join the movement. Share this video with your friends, with other business owners who need to hear it. Just because you're going through hard times does not mean it's the end. It can be the beginning of something amazing if you're willing to buckle down and chase your dream. So we encourage you guys to do that. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode.